Hi everyone, this is Julie, and I invite you all to tangle along with me as I explore some new pens in my Shades journal. I have these sketch brush pens here from Sakura of America. At the time of filming, these are new pens, and I have one in black and gray that I'll be using today. I also have some microns in different sizes. I have some O3s here. I have an O1 as well, and a white jelly roll in O8. And my trusty pencils and graphite and white charcoal with some tortillons. And I'm working in the Zentangle Shades journal, which actually has four different color papers inside of it. We have white, tan, black, and gray. I'm working on this spread here on the gray page, and I'm beginning with this gray sketch brush pen. I really actually enjoyed the gray on gray in this, and we'll see how it pops later on. But I'm using this pen first to add a bijouism to the middle of my page, and this is one of our new bijouisms from this year's 2025 Bijou Be Well series, and it is add love. And I love these sketch brush pens for really exploring, putting different pressure down to get different line widths as you go around. It's great for tangling and it's great for lettering. And here on either side of my bijouism, I am tangling Hardy Y4, and I will link the step out for this tangle in the video description below. But I really enjoyed exploring this tangle with these sketch brush pens and playing around with the different line widths and the pressure putting on the pen. And I felt like it just gave it a lot of fluid in the way it moved. And it was just a little bit of a different experience than tangling with a Micron O1 or an O3. But these sketch brush pens are a lot of fun. They're kind of like a combination of the brush tip pen and like a Micron PN. So I'm really excited to keep exploring these. I'm going to go back with the black sketch brush pen now, and I am doing some embedded letters on my bijouism. And this is just so much fun. It's one of those things, once you start doing your embedded letters, you can't stop. You want to keep going until there's no more room on your page left. And luckily with these journals, you have a lot of space to work with. But I'm using the sketch brush pens for those auras. And again, I'm still following the different line widths and playing around with that. And I think it gives those auras like a lot of character. And then I could not miss a chance to do printemps, weighted printemps with these brush pens. It was, I felt like they were made for this tangle. And so when you get them, it's a great tangle to start with because you can play around by adding different pressure down when you're in certain parts of your tangle and then letting up to create those different line weights. And I couldn't stop. Loved it so much. And then just adding some more love to our tangles as we go along. I love the Hardy Y4, how it's kind of like they're going in and out of each other. And so I just needed a little bit of love here with this sketch brush pen. So far I have only used the sketch brush pen. And then I'm going to go back with the Jelly Roll O8, and I just added some little white there, and it really just pops off this gray paper. And now we shade, which is always so fun, especially on like a gray tone paper where you can get both light and dark to really pop off the page here. So I'm shading all of my printemps here to really kind of push them down below my embedded letter. And then I'll use the tortillon to kind of spread that around. And then the white charcoal, it really is the icing on the cake on this gray paper. It pops right off the page. And normally I don't use a tortillon when I have the white charcoal, but I feel like on this paper, you really need it. And you really just needed the lightest touch. And then I'm using it to add some highlight to my letters here, adding love, just as the bijouism said. It was only fitting for this page. And then I'm going to shade the Y4 to really enhance where it looks like the tangle kind of weaves into itself, and then have my embedded letters here kind of bursting out of the middle of this Y4, which is really fun. This really was such a fun exercise, and I'd love to just fill an entire journal with all the bijouisms like this coming out of tangles. I really think it's going to be something fun to explore. I love the paper in these journals and getting to switch from the different tones. Like you can imagine how you could kind of mirror the same thing on the other side with white on black and how great that would look. I'm just shading along here. And there we go. There is my exploration of the sketchbrush pens in our Shades journal. And thank you so much for coming along with me to add love to our journal.